Hello, beautiful souls. I am Catherine Sawyer. I wanted to share a little bit about my story today. So, I grew up completely clairvoyant. I saw things that others didn't see. I was able to connect with energies that nobody else felt or saw. I knew things before they happened, and it scared a lot of people. I was able to call adults out on things that made them really uncomfortable and didn't know how I could know it, and definitely got embarrassed when I shared it. I did not have a filter, and it really stifled my growth as a child. I shut down. I did not share myself with others in a deeper way and in various different ways in my life, growing up into an adult as well. And as I got older, there was just certain things that I would start to share and that I did feel. And I did have quite a few major experiences in my life where when I was 16, I tried to take my own life. And with that, it was a huge shift for me. I had gone through some really big traumas, and it put me on a path with a therapist that was helping me. And she was the only person that when I communicated with her with what I was experiencing and seeing, that trusted me. And she taught me a prayer to say, gave me a ritual to bless my house and to really start taking my power back. And at that time, it was really, Bible based, but it was showing me that even in that kind of religion, there was still this ritual that I could do to protect myself. And it did. It helped. It gave me the strength of my power back, and then also gave me the strength to go, okay, with what I'm experiencing, it is real. Even though everybody else tells me it's not, I know and I can feel it, and somebody else is acknowledging it. And so it was a super big shift for me. And I did start to share some more of my gifts. I knew when my grandfather was going to die, and I told my mom that she needed to call him. And she did. We were all able to talk to him, and he passed that evening. He lived out of state, so it was, there's things like that. There was an accident that had happened, and we were stuck in hours of long traffic from this massive accident, and I was able to tell my mom how many people had passed in it, and it came out in the newspaper a couple days later, and I was able to tell her even like what it was. It wasn't just that these people had died, but I knew it. I just intuitively knew it and could experience it in a different way. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was 21, and she opened up another gateway for me. It was so super clear when I was pregnant with her, but it was a lot. It was like the door was wide open, and I could hear a lot coming through, and it got to the point to where I wasn't able to sleep, and I threw up a bunch of walls to block out what was trying to come in. And so I did this massive sitting in the closet with my hands over my ears and trying to block it all out, and I threw up all these walls, and intuitively, not realizing how powerful I was, what I had done, but I was able to sleep. But I still was able to connect in a different way with my daughter. I could feel her when I was pregnant. There was just things like, I remember walking through a store one day and seeing a name and was like, oh, that's her name. me and my husband at the time were going through names and couldn't find one, and it came to me in the store. And so, listening to my intuition, listening to my guides, which later on I learned that was who was communicating with me, and that's a lot of what was showing up. I mean, I also saw some pretty dark things with the life that I did wind up growing up with, and the people that were around me, and the environment that I grew up in was not a healthy one. And it's interesting the way that life happens and the way that we get stuck and the life is happening to us. And we continue that pattern as adults. And so I share this because when I finally got to a point in my life to where I was not taking my own power, I was not stepping in, and I was doing everything everybody else told me that I needed to do, I was so out of alignment that even when I was hearing my guides and my intuition telling me that I needed to quit and I needed to move on, that I didn't until it actually blew up physically in my body. And I will share that story again, or you can listen to it on Spotify. But it was huge. And to take my power back and go, okay, this is the decision I'm making, this is where I'm going. And from there, I went back to listening to somebody else and following under their footsteps, because there was still this lack mentality that I was running from even childhood. And so it was all meant to be. It was a beautiful place. I see it now that I've grown and moved forward. At the time I did not. I was stuck in victim mode all the time. Life's happening to me. Can't understand why this is happening, why I'm going through this. But I always took charge. I always took charge and was like, you know what? I'm going to fight back. I'm going to be a warrior. I'm not going to sit in victim mode. But I was still fighting my victim mode. And it wasn't until I started plant medicine that my life took a huge, huge turn. And the one night with plant medicine shifted my whole mindset. And it took me into a place where when I woke up the next morning, I understood that my whole entire life was a lie. Everything that I was told as a child was not true. It was everything that everybody told me that I was not, I was doing and not doing, was in reverse. I was seeing everything that I was meant to see. I had the gifts that people were so scared of. And it took me a month and a half to integrate that journey. And it's, oh my God, it was so life-changing. It was like, I knew it leading up to that. I could feel it. My body knew it. I was like, something is about to happen. And I don't know, but I need to get prepared for it. And I need to be prepared because my life is about to change. And it's going to shift dramatically. And I'm not prepared for it. And sure enough, it was. It shifted so quickly. And then from there, I just kept going. I quit my 11-year career and went ahead and stuck with my side hustle that was matching what I was making through my career. Why not work part-time and still make what I was making? So I did that, and I traveled and had fun, and then all of a sudden, it continuing to move forward, it was out of alignment. I was beating my head against the wall. It was like, why am I working so hard? I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else, but I don't know what it is. Here I am. A couple years later, I have now closed that business completely because it was totally out of alignment with me. I walked away from product that I created. I mean, it was all unique, one of a kind. I handmade it myself, and I traveled and enjoyed it. I made custom orders for other people, but it was no longer in alignment with me. I knew that my purpose was being called somewhere else, and I had to let go of what was no longer serving me. Even though it had served me for so long and I really enjoyed it, it just was not that for me anymore. And so that sent me on a spiral of what is going on with me and how can I shift and change this? Like, where am I supposed to be in this world if I'm not doing what I had been doing, for the past X amount of time, has really sent me into this self journey of stepping up and realizing that I am my own inspiration. I have to find that within myself. I had lost my passion. I had lost my desire. I felt completely lost. And most people don't know this story about me, because all they've ever seen is this girl that just keeps going and does not quit. And I'm a projector. I'm supposed to rest. And so there was this good period of my life where I was guided to just sit and be still. And I didn't know what to do with myself. And everything that I was working through and working on, the emotions that were coming up, this feeling that I was being lazy and I had to hustle, I had to make it work, and everything I was trying was failing, and I was not allowing myself to recalibrate. I had been in this hustle mentality for so long, my body was asking to rest. And I had hit multiple periods in my life where I was drained and exhausted, had high anxiety, and I mean, all the stories. I could go on for days. However, this was different. This was me acknowledging and seeing it. This was me going through and going, wow, I see what I did to myself here. Okay, I want to move this direction now. Oh, I saw what I experienced here. Wow. Okay. This is the direction I want to go now. And even in those times of, going, okay, I want to go here, or okay, I want to go here, there were still times that I found myself out of alignment because I was looking to the external world to show me what it was that was within me that wanted to be seen and heard. So I have started, it was after this first of the year, I started following those massive, massive nudges going, you need to get out in the world. You cannot wait anymore. You see, I had been hearing for the past couple of years that I had seen it in a meditation. I saw myself on a stage and I was like, whoa, like I am not a public speaker. Like that's not something that I do. Like all the excuses of why not. And so I stayed as far away from it as I could. However, I would get guided and nudged to make a video. Get up and make a video. Middle of the night, wake up. You need to make a video. This is what you're going to talk about. And I did. I got really uncomfortable there for a while because I was fighting it and it was showing up in my body. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? What is this? And it was like, oh, I remember this. I remember what's going on here. I'm ignoring my intuition and it's showing up physically. And so I started listening and started making videos and started posting more and shifting my energy towards, what I was being guided to. And I had people show up. I had people showed up when I was in the Akashic Records and they said, hey, this is what you're going to do. And I go, I've never done that before. How can you tell me that's what I'm going to do? You're going to do this. You're going to have somebody show up and this is what they're needing. And I was just like, okay. And sure enough, a couple days later, somebody shows up and hadn't talked to him and boom, there it was. And then I get invited to share my gifts at another location and start my business. Something that I didn't think I was going to do. I didn't think I was going to share my gifts in this way. I was still trying to hide them because that was the pattern that I was running at that time. And then from there, I got that invitation. And I asked my Akashic Records, it's like, okay, what is this? How do I go into this? And you're going to make a business card. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to have it. And okay, I just see it. And it wasn't them really telling me what to do. It was this understanding of, oh, this is what it is. It's a business card. Oh, okay. And then I would go in and it's like, okay, I'm confused here. What am I seeing? And it's like, oh, you're going to charge X amount of money for this. Oh, you're going to put this down. And then I remember when they told me, they were like, and you're going to do this. I'm like, I've never done that before. And they're like, but you have, but you're going to do it like this. And this is what you're going to charge for it. I was like, okay. And they were like, this is what your first client's going to pay you for. And I was like, okay. It was just like, okay, I'm going to trust it. So I did. And sure enough, my first paid client paid for that. Second paid client paid for the same service. It's this place of trust. I was being guided and I was no longer fighting it. And so again, even when it comes to sitting in front of this video and getting ready to share it with all of you, I share this because if you're guided here, your intuition's talking to you. You're being guided places and you're not listening. The world outside of us is communicating with us all the time. And if you don't know the language, it can be confusing. So that is what I do. I teach people to listen to the outside world. I help them come in connection to themselves, learning deeply within them what is their truth. I help people come home to themselves, learning and trusting who they are and who they want to be by their soul's desire, not society's. And so I ask you today, what are you being called to do? And what is stopping you? And if you need help, I'm here. If you're not ready, then slide on by. Thank you.